Revelation and Holy Scripture, propositional and non-propositional revelation. The origin of the word religion suggests it involves a binding of human beings with the bigger, transcendent reality, sometimes referred to as God. But how did this re-binding get off the ground in the first place? Does religion come about as a result of human initiative? Is God something that we discover in our own experience, much like a traditional explorer discovering a new mountain or an unheard-of human community? Or is it the other way round? Does the something other that stands outside or beyond experience disclose itself in ways that makes it accessible to us? Generally speaking, the Abrahamic religions, Judaism, Christianity and Islam, have taught that the other is not an object waiting to be discovered by us. It, or usually he, the male pronoun being used for both cultural and theological reasons, could choose to remain inaccessible, but has freely chosen to disclose itself. Other religious traditions, including Hinduism and Buddhism, emphasize in different ways that the so-called other is everyone's authentic self, waiting to be discovered through spiritual disciplines and techniques, including meditation. In this section, we will be concentrating on the Abrahamic understanding of God's self-disclosure, usually referred to as revelation. In the Hebrew, Christian and Islamic traditions, it is God who takes the initiative and invites humans to approach God. Different modes of self-disclosure, revelation, have been identified. Theologians such as Pannenberg, born in 1928, have emphasized revelation through history, known as Heilsgeschichte, or sacred history. Others, like Bultmann, have called attention to the existential dimension of revelation, stressing the importance of the human response to the divine initiative. Catholic tradition, Christianity, has stressed the importance of collective experience or tradition as an important mode of revelation. But all traditions have taught that Scripture is a principal mode of God's self-disclosure. The rest of this section will examine some ideas about what it means to say that revelation is mediated through Holy Scripture. When considering revelation through Scripture, a useful distinction to apply is propositional revelation and non-propositional revelation. Propositional revelation consists of truths expressed in propositional form, that is, as written or spoken statements, revealed by God. Within the Abrahamic traditions, there are believers who argue that their scriptures contain unambiguous propositional truths. For them, a believer is someone who assents to their truthfulness. Faith, according to this propositional view of revelation, is analogous to an intellectual act. It is a kind of knowledge made possible through scriptural evidence provided by God, but different from reason that operates on data acquired by various human faculties. Reason can, according to Aquinas, help people see that God is real or that God exists. But only propositional scripture contained in the Bible can provide essential knowledge of what God is like and why anything exists at all. From this perspective, then, a believer is someone who assents in faith to certain scriptural propositional truths about God. A non-believer is someone who rejects these truths. One classic difference between Catholic and Protestant Christians is that, for Catholics, the truths that are assented to need to be authenticated by the collective mind and experience of the Church. For Protestants, scriptural truths are self-authenticating, because they're from God, or authenticated by individual conscience. Propositional revelation has been problematic both for some believers and for philosophy generally. Taking the Catholic-Protestant distinction first, what does it mean for a truth to be self-authenticating or authenticated by God? To say God created the heavens and earth is true because it comes directly from God, who is truth, seems to be circular. To say that a truth is authentic because it squares with the Church's teaching assumes that that teaching is consistent. Some would want to deny this. What happens when the truths of different religions, or even different traditions within a religion, conflict? How is such a conflict to be resolved without one tradition simply asserting its superiority? Finally, propositional revelation suggests that, epistemologically and psychologically speaking, humans are receptacles into which divine knowledge and insight is poured. However, many psychologists and philosophers do not believe humans are passive receivers of knowledge, but rather are involved actively in the construction of knowledge. Those who maintain that revelation is non-propositional mean that God is encountered not primarily through propositional truths in scriptures, but through the ongoing flux of human experience and human history. Propositions about God, according to this view, are not revealed to humans by God, but are more or less successful attempts by humans to understand God. Rather than emphasizing the absolute otherness and inaccessibility of God, this view stresses the total involvement of God in everything, panentheism, including human nature, which is not a fixed entity, but a dynamic, unfolding reality that is oriented towards transcendence. This non-propositional tradition has always held that reason has a crucial role to play in humankind's understanding and experience of God. One implication of this view is that the Bible is seen not as a source of infallible information provided by a God out there, but as a collection of inspired writings produced by human beings trying to make sense of their encounter with the divine. The Bible and other holy writings are valued not as an exclusive treasury of divine truths, but as a source of insights that may help people enter into a deeper and fuller experience of life. Critics of non-propositional revelation argue that this view divests Scripture of authority and illumination. If there is no evidence of Scripture, then the principal access to the divine has been closed down. However, this just begs the question about human nature, and whether or not it should be understood as intrinsically divine. Finally, many non-theists do subscribe to a non-propositional view of the Bible. They would simply say that a deeper and fuller experience of life does not entail belief in the God of classical theism.